Good morning, dear colleagues. Now I am on air. I ask you contact with me. I ask you contact with me. Dear colleagues, I am sorry for late, but I had some network issues. I was not ready. My microphone worked not so perfectly. Now I hope everything's okay. I listen me. I ask you contact because connect to the broadcasting. Now only 6 students in online. Dear colleagues, are you listening me? Are you listening me? Not so many students. I ask you contact with me. If you listen to me, put plus in the YouTube chat or in the contact chat room. Quality of sound. Quality of sound I think not so bad. Not so many students in online. Now I change my glass because I don't see anything in my screen. I wait you some minutes and start lecture. Or 20 students, very good. But my opinion must be much more. It's only 2 groups. Or 22, very good, very good. I'm here, don't worry, I'm here. Or 23 students, not so many, but somebody present. Must be much more students. I don't understand why you don't visit lecture, because you must only open your eyes after the sleep, drinking coffee and watch in your handy phone, in your smartphone. That's all. Or 25. Okay, start lecture when we have 25 students. Okay. Okay, let's go. Now you will see my picture. Now I'm broadcasting my picture. And we start our lecture. Good morning, dear colleagues. Today our lecture psychology. Today we have psychology lecture. Good morning, dear colleagues. Today our lecture personality. Personality is a combination between psychological process and behavior. I hope you remember. What does mean psychological process? It's like an internal internal mechanic. It's a personality it's a combination between mind and behavior. Clear? Mind and psychological process, it's like the same words. What does mean behavior? Behavior is something objective. If you do something, it's a behavior. If I understand what you do, it's a behavior. I hope it's clear for you. If you understand what you do, it's behavior. If you do something, it's a behavior. What does it mean personality? What does it mean personality? Personality, it's a particular pattern of behavior and thinking, privilege across time and situations that differ from one person and other person. Now think about these definitions. First part of definitions. It's a behavior. Personality and behavior, it's a very same things. But it's not only behavior, it's a thinking. Thinking, it's a very important, it's a psychological process. It's a process which resolve problems. It's a process which resolve problems. It's a problems which achieve target. It's a process which create a way from one point to other point, from one motivation to other motivations. And yes, of course, personality different from one person to other person. What does it mean? It's mean different person has a different behavior in same situations. Every person have a same behavior in same situations. It's like a style of behavior. For example, if you visit today my lecture, I think your attendance in university very good. It's mean you are good students. Your pattern of behavior very good students. Your pattern of behavior, it's a students which every time resolve, which every time visit class, which visit lecture and has not so bad mark. Why? Because it's your favorite pattern of behavior. I hope it's clear. Thinking. What does it mean thinking? Thinking, it's a mental process which depend our behavior. What does it mean behavior? Behavior, it's tools for achieve target. What does it mean thinking? It's a mental process which create a strategy how to resolve problems. What does it mean our problems? Our problems in general, it's our motivations. When we're resolving problems, we feel positive emotions. When we frustrate motivations, we feel negative emotions. Frustrations, it's a word opposite from satisfactions. Satisfaction take a positive emotions. In frustrations, we feel negative emotions. Okay, I think you understand these definitions. Next two definitions. Personality refers to person's unique and relatively stable pattern of thought, feeling, and actions. Okay, pay attention to these definitions. What parameters of personality we must recognize? First, unique. What does it mean unique? Unique, it means every time, every person has a different pattern of behavior in same situations. It's like a multiplier of behavior. Like a society, we has a same. Everybody has the same problems. Clear? In society, but what does it mean? But what does it mean unique? It's mean I am, you are. Every time has a different type of behavior in same situations, and our chance for surviving increasing. Clear? Unique, it's a very powerful mechanism. I hope you understand. Animals has a very restricted set of behavior. In general, main strategy which has animals, it's a fight or flight. Fight or fly, attack or run away. We has very difficult behavior. Why? Because we split problems to the some step, and every step in different directions. Everybody has own way in life, and as a result, why everybody has different way in their life? Because everybody unique. Okay, I hope now you understand what does it mean unique in personality. Second, stable. What does it mean stable pattern of behavior? Stable pattern of action or stable part of behavior, it's mean in same situations you has a same style of behavior. What does mean style of behavior? It's mean your relations with parents very same. Your relations with colleagues in class very same. Your relations between you and your colleagues during the break very same. After the class you has a same behavior with your colleagues. But for example, your behavior with your parents and with your colleagues absolutely different. It's mean in different situations you use a different pattern of behavior. If you use one type of behavior in same situations, it's not so good. It's a pathology. It's dramatically reduce your ability to surviving, and sometimes it's absolutely abnormal. For example, you are in party in your hostel, yes, and your pattern of behavior like a behavior during the lecture. What you do during the lecture? You sit down, mute, and write something. Now dreaming. You are in the party, a lot of music, a lot of cola, some snake, but you are sit down and write something in your notebooks. Write something and do some remarks. If you want to say something, you hang up and ask, can I say something? Can I ask you? I hope you understand. It's absolutely abnormal behavior in during the party. But now think about party behavior in the lecture. For example, during the lecture you start sing songs, you start eating, drinking, ask do speech, do some speech, negotiate with everybody, with your neighbor. It's absolutely impossible during the lecture. Okay, now you understand. For different situations, we need different pattern of behavior. Different situation, different pattern of behavior. Feelings and thoughts. Very interesting part. Okay, feelings and thought. It's a mental process. It's a mentality. Feelings. It's our emotions. It's your relations to something. Clear? It's your relation to something. Your relation to something very stable. You has like a stable relations to some person, stable relation to some event during the life. I hope you remember our emotions and relations. It's the same things. What does it mean? Emotions. Emotions. It's a rewards. It's a rewards which we feel during. It's like a rewards which you feel after satisfactions. But what does it mean? Our target. Our target. It's first. Our target. It's motivations, And yes, of course, we want something which take pleasure due satisfactions. For example, I don't know, I want a do very hard job right now. No, why? Because it's so difficult, it don't take pleasure. But maybe you need some job for money, It's absolutely different situations. You like exchange negative emotions during the job to the positive emotions which you feel after salary. Salary, it's like a reward. Money, it's like a reward. But not only money, it's a reward. Reward we can feel due satisfy our biological motivations. What does it mean, our biological motivations? Our biological motivation, it's like a hungry feeling, thirsty feelings, security feelings, yes? Need to interpersonal relations, yes? Okay, you have a stable relations. You are and your personality, it's a same things, clear? Your personality, it's a combinations between your relation to something or somebody. It's your combinations of your behavior in the special situations, like a class, like a parents, like a boyfriends, girlfriends, like I don't know, after the class, during the break, your negotiation with teacher, your negotiation with dinner office. You have different emotions. You feel different emotions for different people, but in general, your emotions, your feelings about somebody very stable. Yes, of course, if somebody do something not so good for you, your relation changing. But before, your relations very same. For some events, I mean politics, ecology, religion, everything's clear. It's feelings. Now we discuss feelings. Thoughts or things. Yes, of course, things, it's our internal mechanic, how to achieve something. Our things based in internal, inductions, deductions, like abstract thinking, categorizing. It's a mental operations. Mental operations with combinations of our data set which present in our mind, which we receive due our life, due our learning and education. Okay, I hope now you understand these definitions. Personality, it's a combinations between emotions, behavior, and thoughts. And unique. Everybody has unique relations to some event, clear? Everybody has different relation to some event. It's like a ABC. Next, very important definitions. Personality, it's interactions. It's an interface between you are and your biology, like a body, and environment. In environment, I understand like society, ecology, everything's where your physical environment, your social environment, and your biology. Because your biology depend a lot of things. Your biology, what parameter, what like a main factors which depend your biology. Yes, of course, it's your genetics. Yes. Genetic depend our personality. Our personality, it's our thought. Personality, it's our emotions. Personality, it's our behavior. What does it mean, our genetic? Our genetic, it's our brain anatomy. I don't speak about brain anatomy like about anatomy department. I has a point of view about brain anatomy from point of view of anatomy department, histology department, biochemistry department. It's a very flexibility organs. It's a very important organs. Two factors maybe create our personality. It's a genetic, it's our biology, and our learning and education. Two factors: our experience and our genetic. Combination of these factors create our personality. Personality, it's a style, it's a stable pattern of thinking, stable pattern of emotions, stable pattern of behavior. It's a unique. Everybody has unique experience, and as a result, everybody has unique knowledge. Unique knowledge create unique thoughts. Our unique, it's a key to our surviving like a biological type. Personality, it's not a stable, it's interactions between two factors: hereditary, I mean genetics, and environment. What's important environment factors influence to developing our personality? First, it's our culture. It's our culture. Culture, I mean, it's you understand what does it mean, culture? It's rules, what's possible and what impossible in society. Second factors, it's a family factors. It's a family. Family, it's a non-shared environment. It's mean family unique for yourself. Family unique for yourself. Culture common for everybody. Now it has a level of culture. First level of culture, it's our religion, ethnic culture. Second level of culture, it's mass media. Mass media, in my opinion, part of our ethnics and country, national culture. Next level, it's a global culture. What does mean global culture? It's your relations in the social networks. We create like a common culture in a different part of the world, but inside this culture we create a groups. Why we every time create a groups? We every time create groups because we feel positive emotions after attach ourselves to some groups. Maybe you remember this phenomena has name social emotions. What does mean social emotions? It's a reward or positive emotions when we contact to other groups, connect to other groups, and we feel negative emotions when groups discharge ourselves. Okay, culture. Second level, very important level, family. Family, it's unique for everybody. Family unique for everybody. Family, it's our non-shared environment. Family, it's very it's like combinations between genetic. It's a combinations between genetic and it's a combinations between, my opinion, genetic and interactions and learning and experience, because your parents has a same genetic like your genetic, and this genetic combined with behavior, because yes, of course, our behavior depend our genetic, your genetic and your parent genetic like attract to the special pattern of behavior. Group membership, I mean social economic groups, my opinion, like a doctor, like a workers, like a taxi drivers, yes, and level of lifestyle. It's like a group lifestyle. Now we phenomena. We globalize our relations, but inside society, our social level very different, clear. For example, we have phenomena. For example, different peoples has interaction in same social networks, in same groups, chat groups, but in real life it's absolutely different people from economic status, from lifestyle status, clear. But what does it mean our reality? Our reality, it's an internal model of the external world. Life experience. Yes, of course. Life experience, it's your own experience. It's your mistakes, it's your result. And yes, of course, this factor interact with your hereditary. These factors interact with your hereditary. And yes, of course, your choice pattern of behavior, your choice pattern of thinking, which compatibility with your hereditary. And as a result, your hereditary and your life behavior, it's has a very strong connection. Very interesting picture. Very interesting picture. Interactions, like what important factors in personality. In personality, I mean behavior, I mean thinking, I mean relations to the like emotions, relation to something. Yes, of course, genetic. Our parents take a very very large influence to our life. Clear, to our life. It's our genetics. Second factors. It's a non-shared environment. What does mean non-shared environment? It's a person which influence which interact with you, which long time interact with you, which learning you, and only you. Clear. It's not a teacher in the school. It's like somebody in your home which you speak long time. It's your parents, it's your family, it's maybe, I don't know, it's maybe your uncle, maybe your neighbors which pay attention to you. Clear. It's a very personality, very thing, very close contact with somebody. It's non-shared environment. Yes, of course, non-shared environment, it's not only family. If a child every time sit down in the social networks, yes, of course, social networks, it's be a child non-shared environment. Those chat groups be a non-shared environment. And everybody struggle to this place in the person life, because who control non-shared environment control personality. Who control personality control behavior. Now I refresh your knowledge about what does it mean psychology. What does it mean psychology? It's a science about behavior and mental process. Target of psychology: modifications and forecasting human behavior. Okay, next factors, very important. It's only 7%, not so important, but it's a 7%. It's a shared environment. What is a shared environment? It's our school, it's our social environment, it's religions and like these things. Clear? These factors do our behavior like a same, but unique. It's a non-shared environment. Clear? Shared environment do our behavior like a stable in general, but feature, it's a non-shared environment. Shared environment school, shared environment university, shared environment it's a religion, shared environment it's our mass media like a newspaper and official magazine and TV. Okay, last very important factors, it's error, mistake. What does mean mistake? Now I prepare some example. Okay, some person satisfies social norms. Some person cannot satisfy social norms. Clear? What factors? Why somebody not satisfy social norms? First, genetic influence. First, it's a genetics, yes, because a lot of dopamine, a lot of aggressions, a lot of serotonin, a lot of positive energy. What does mean mistake? For example, person was born in antisocial family. Grandfather do some crime, grandmother use drugs, parents, one parent has a father has a problems with law and take part in the crime organizations. Mother use alcohol and drugs and has a problems with police. Okay. Majority in family unemployment, majority in family cannot majority in family say so cannot live in the average social level, social economic level. They living in the like underground social in underground society, like a crime, like an alcoholic, like a drug addiction person. Clear? Okay, it's a family. In this family we has a daughter and son. Okay, shared environment. Same, because daughter and son visit a school. Genetic, very same. Non-shared environment. School and neighbors. Who is neighbors? Neighbors, it's a drug addiction person, it's a crime person, it's an alcoholic, and school. Very good teacher. But son and daughter visit the same school and learning in the same class. Okay, very good. But son has a very positive marks in school, take part in the all school event, dreaming about college, and yes, of course, he think about college and university. Daughter has a problems with law. Daughter has a problems with police. Has use drugs, use alcohol. What's happy? Error, mistake. Clear? Mistake, very important factors in genetic and in society. Clear? Mistakes consist of genetics, consist of non-shared environment. Error touch not only genetic. Error touch social factors, teacher, personality experience, personal experience. Clear? I hope this picture clear for you. Next part of our lecture, personality traits. Very important part of our lecture. It's a psychological terms. What has been personality traits? Traits are stable and consistent personality characteristics. For example, very smart, very funny, very bored, very aggressive. Clear? Like stable and important factors of behavior, thinking. Because you understand, very optimistic person. It's a thinking. It's not a behavior. Yes, very active person, very passive person. Personality traits. It's this theory suggests then our behavior depend our traits. Traits, it's like an internal mechanic. It's like a like a profile. It's like a profile. And what's type of profile? Like open to new ideas, like traditions. It's like a traits. Yes, very funny, very bored traits. Very smart and think, very flexibility, very rigidity thinking. It's a traits. Clear? Extroversion, introversion, neuroticism, psychotism. It's a Ising theory, like 4 traits: introversion, neuroticism, psychotism. Okay, now you understand traits. It's a factors which depend our behaviors. Different theory recognize different numerous of traits. our traits, it's like a stable, you remember definitions, personality, it's a stable pattern of behavior. Why our behavior stable? Our behavior stable because our behavior based in our traits, clear? And what does it mean, our personality? It's our feelings, our emotions. It's we positive person, we very positive person which has a positive thinking about future, or the person very pessimistic person. It's our genetics, it's our experience, clear? But it's a stable point of view about the world. Okay, I hope now you understand what does it mean personality traits. Terminology. I show some like terms which you meet in medicine. First, it's extroversions. I pay your attention. It's a tendency, it's a chance. It's like your tendency to seek the company of other people. It's a tendency. It means then if you has if you has opportunity contact with other person, you be use this opportunity, clear? Next very important terms, introversions. It's opposite. It's a tendency to living, sit down at home, reading books and think about something and like your projection inside you. In extroversions, your projection outside. In introversions, you think about yourself, your internal world, very, very important for you. Next terms, it's a neuroticism. What does mean neuroticism? It's a tendency to the anxiety, worry, and feel of guilt. It's mean you every time worry. Yes, of course, worry it's a normal feelings. Worry it's a normal feelings. But what's different between worry and pathology? Worry it's a normal. But some person every time worry about everything. It's mean neuroticism very high. For example, profile of the person. Person has tendency to sit down in home, has a social withdrawal, every time worry about any situations, about future. Next, psychotism. Psychotism it's aggression, egocentric. Yes, of course, neuroticism it's the opposite from the psychotism. Extroversions it's the opposite from introversions. Profile of the person, very aggressive person. Every time try contact with somebody. Every time start discussion. Very aggressive. Like respect only over an opinion. Okay, it's now I explain personality, other personality. Every time feel like guilty feelings. Every time has shame feelings. Every time hesitates contact with other person. Contact visit some public place, visit a new society. It's a serious problems. Okay, now my opinion, it's extreme characteristic. But my opinion now you can use these traits and you can see these traits in your friends, in your parents, maybe in yourself. It's normal. Everybody has a different value for every trait. Clear? Next, very famous model of personality. It's a 5 factors models, big 5 or oceans. This theory suggests that we have a 5 main characteristic. I pay your attention. Isaac's theory, it's a 4 characteristic. It's a extroversion, introversions, neuroticism, psychotism. This more, yes, of course, this model involve extroversions and introversions, but include some other parameter like openness. What does mean openness? Open to new ideas. Consciousness, it's a responsibility for own actions. Extroversions, you understand, it's a person ready to the social contact. Agreeableness, it's mean trusting, and he trust to other person, and he like I say so, he ready to work to the team activity. He can work with team activity. He feel pleasure in team, because when you satisfy these traits, you feel positive emotions. You do something new, you feel positive emotions. Clear? What it's very important understand. We do something which take a positive emotion. Clear? This characteristic take a positive emotion for ourselves. Neuroticism, I'm explain. It's a person every time worry about everything. Okay, now we try apply this model to the sale person in the shop. Okay, he must ready to the new ideas how to increase sale. Openness. Consciousness. My opinion, not so good for salesmen. Why? Because sometimes good, not so. Sometimes goods not so good. Say so, but main target which has a salesman, it's a sale. And yes, of course, he said, okay, these wires very good. You are very pretty in these wires. It's like a level of when he lay, this person don't feel negative emotions. Extroversions. Yes, of course, if person has appointment in a large shop, he every time in society. And yes, of course, he must feel pleasure from relations with other person. Because if person has introversions, very high level of introversions, job in open space in supermarket, for example, it's be nicht mehr for this person. Yes, of course, it's impossible. Agreeableness, it's mean person don't feel negative emotions when he satisfy rules of the company. Yes, he ready to rules which take a company. He ready to rules which take society for himself. Neuroticism. He don't worry. He don't worry when he do. First he do, after that he think. Okay, it's a very good salesman. And yes, of course, this 5 factors model open way to create profile which we need for some job. Yes, for example, for surgery, does not matter he is extroversion or introversions. Yes, but if your GP doctors, if your family doctors, you must be very extroversions, you must be very consciousness, you must be very agreeableness, you must show your human warmth. Surgery doctors do surgery and don't contact with patients. You don't contact with patients. Okay, other appointment in our supermarket. Anti-fraud security. This person must only agreeableness. He must only satisfy company rules. Consciousness, very high level of consciousness. He thinks then everybody must satisfy rules. Rules, it's a primary in the life. Open to new ideas, no. Only manuals, only protocols. Clear? And this person, this characteristic of person, very good for this appointment. Clear? Different personality, compatibility with different appointment. It's very important. Why we has unique personality? Because we has a lot of appointment. We has a lot of situations in which we must apply our ability. Clear? Unique open way to create a absolutely different job in different situations. In different, it's our reply to It's our reply to environment. Environment take new task. Everybody has special characteristic, and somebody has key to the new situations. Okay, why Big Five model very good? Because we can use this model in the different area of our life. It's like a personality department. It's like a prognosis of behavior. It's like a describe personality. We can do prognosis and forecasting of behavior, and we can modify behavior. We can change person characteristic, increase neuroticism, decrease neuroticism, do something like this, clear, and manipulations. I don't be reading this picture. I only show this picture some second. After that, stop video and watch this video, okay? Without me and reading. Very interesting. Dear colleagues, my recommendation, reading these topics and pay attention to this picture. After that, you can use this picture for describe your friends. Not only describe your friends, describe your teacher, describe your boss. For what purpose we need personality model? I repeat once more, personality, it's a science about behavior. Target of psychology. Psychology, it's a science of behavior, and target of psychology. And mental process, behavior and mental process. And target, it's a prognosis and modifications. What does mean modification of behavior? You need to increase your salary. Who increase your salary? Your boss increase your salary. How to explain for boss and you need more money? You must modify boss behavior. Clear? Teacher, you want more high marks, high scores. You must modify teacher behavior. Clear? You interact with teacher. If you understand structure and internal mechanic of human behavior, you can influence to the human behavior. Okay, I hope you watch this picture without me sometimes. Why is this theory very good? This theory very good because it's a cross-culture theory. All ethnic groups has a traits which we describe in the Big Five model. These traits explain human behavior very good. This model open way to the prognosis human behavior. But great questions. Why everybody has these traits? We have not answer to these questions. Okay, other model of personality. It's a psychoanalytic theory. Psychoanalytic theory was created by Sigmund Freud, and he attempts to explain personality on the base of the unconsciousness mental forces. Okay, what does mean consciousness? Consciousness, it's your level of awareness. It's a level in which it's level of your responsibility. What does it mean unconsciousness? It's an automatic process which depend your behavior. It's an automatic process which depend your behavior. We are level of we has a very small consciousness and we has a very large unconsciousness. Clear? In our unconsciousness living impulses. What does mean impulses? It's our motivations. It's our animals' motivations which try satisfy our biological emotions. We have not responsibility for our unconsciousness, but we have a special mental process which breaking impulses. This impulse is very traumatic for our social appearance. This impulse is very traumatic for our culture. And special structure hidden these impulses, hidden our animal face. Clear? But animal face developing some feelings like a shame, like a anxiety, like a negative moods. In what situations we feel these feelings? We feel these feelings when we cannot satisfy our impulses. But what's problems? Impulses live in unconsciousness. We don't know what's happy in unconsciousness because we don't feel anything. We have not responsibility for unconsciousness. Clear? Okay, level of consciousness. Sigmund Freud model. ID, it's unconsciousness. It's a something which send impulses. What kind of impulses? Hunger, sexual drive, aggressions, fear feelings. It's impulses. But we don't know these impulses. Why? Because ID, this group of processes, completely live in unconsciousness. We don't know what's happy in our unconsciousness. Clear? Next level, it's a preconsciousness. Preconsciousness level, it's a level from which some object pushing in unconsciousness, like a hidden, and we forgot about this, but some object pop up in our consciousness and we understand this. Clear? Ego, it's a special mental process which suppress our impulses. I pay your attention. Ego ego receive impulses in over unconsciousness part. After that, analyze in preconsciousness these impulses like a compatibility with our culture or incompatibility. If impulses incompatibility, we feel negative emotions, but we don't know what kind of impulses. Like impulses don't pop up in the preconsciousness and consciousness. Clear? Majority of impulses, we don't know majority of our motivations. We know our motivations and impulses only. It's a small part of impulses which ego pass in our preconsciousness and consciousness. Okay, and other part, very important part, it's a superego. Superego, it's a list of rules which we must satisfy. It's a list what does it mean good, what does it mean bad. Who created this list? This list created due our culture, due our religion. Yes, of course, language very important. But some part of these rules living in preconsciousness and unconsciousness. Some object, some things we don't do, and it's like a part of our nature. Yes, you cannot broken some rules. When you think how to broken these rules, you feel negative emotions. It's your ego reply to this idea. But if you think about some taboo things, it's mean object in your consciousness or preconsciousness. But some impulses and some taboo living in the unconsciousness. Yeah, clear? Because what's way? We receive something in consciousness, we as a language, we as a books. After that, this object processing in the preconsciousness, and after that object pushing in unconsciousness. In unconsciousness, present interactions between superego, ego, and ID. But interactions between ID and ego and superego possible in preconsciousness and consciousness. For example, think about something which in incompatibility with your culture. You feel some negative emotions, you feel some worry feelings. Why it's happy? Because you think in where you think in the consciousness. After that, you think in the consciousness. Next stage, you think in its impulses developing in your consciousness. After that, your ego compare your impulses, your motivations with your culture. And after that, said, okay, it's compatibility. If you remember what rules, what law you're breaking, you will be breaking your action which you're planning. It's mean ego use a consciousness part. But sometimes you feel some negative emotions and you don't understand why it's happy. Answer very easy. It's happy because some impulse is developing in your preconsciousness or unconsciousness, and your ego depress these impulses. Psychoanalytic terminology. ID, it's a group of processes which depend our animal phase. It's a thirsty, anger feelings, sexual drive, hunger feelings. I pay your attention. ID, totally, it's unconsciousness. We don't know what's happening in our unconsciousness. We don't know our impulses which developing in our middle brain. ID for medical students, it's a middle brain. Ego, it's a group of mental processes which understand reality. What does mean reality? Reality, it's your experience and skills. It's a result of your educations. Educations, I mean culture, religions, everything. Experience, it's your own experience, clear? Experience we creating due in unconsciousness, in preconsciousness, due our activity, due our skills. Educations, it's a process which we create in consciousness and responsibility. Ego like a living in the three level, in consciousness, in preconsciousness, in unconsciousness. What's phenomena in ego? Ego know what impulses living. Ego know what things living in unconsciousness. But ego don't explain, don't send these informations in the preconsciousness and in consciousness. And as a result, we worry, but we don't know why we worry. Clear? For example, your ID won't kill somebody, but you feel angry, aggressions, but you don't know about this. Sometimes you think about murders in your consciousness, and in consciousness level, ego said, okay, it's impossible. It's impossible. Why? Because it's a crime. It's problems. It's a broken your religion. It's a problems for you. You understand? Ego can work in the different level, in the level of unconsciousness, in the level of preconsciousness. But if ego working in the level of unconsciousness, ego suppress impulses, and you don't know what impulses ego was breaking. You feel only shame, you feel only anxiety, you feel negative emotions. Superego. Superego, it's a list of rules which we understand due developing of our moral principles. It's a consciousness, it's a awareness, it's a responsibility. And ID, it's our genetic. ID, it's our middle brain. Superego, it's our humanity. It's our humanity. Okay, preconsciousness. Preconsciousness, it's like something which we partially understand, and impulses and mental object from preconsciousness jumping between maybe pop up in the consciousness, and we understand. If object not so important or so traumatic, we hidden it in the unconsciousness. Object which we put in unconsciousness, we don't know what's happening in unconsciousness, but via superego we can feel negative emotion. For example, you feel you hidden in the unconsciousness some event which take a lot of shame and a lot of negative emotion for you. You forgot about this, but it's your consciousness forgot. This object living in the unconsciousness, and sometimes this object try pop up to the consciousness, but ego protect your consciousness from this traumatic experience. You feel some anxiety, but you don't know why you worry. Clear? I hope this example very understandable for you. Yes, of course, this theory much more wide, but we learn only some minute. Okay, dear colleagues, thank you very much. Now our lecture is finishing. I am Dvirsky Alexander, Professor of Faculty of Psychology. Goodbye, good luck. Я выключил микрофон. Все, я установил, Аля. Я все